Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you, as always, an amazing guest as well. Can't wait to get into it. But as always, Mr. Velvet Joker, how's it going, bud?
Good evening, everyone. It's your man, Velvet J, here on another award-winning Splash Pages podcast. And we're going to have another fantastic podcast tonight because it's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock. We've got news. We've got a fantastic guest that I've learned so much about this week, and we're going to talk to him. But first, I'm going to turn it over to my man or woman. Boom!
Kari, how's it going?
Kari!
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. So glad to have you here. We have a lot of people showing up already. I'm so excited about this. We are going to have a wonderful show. And let's hear from Jeremy. I pick.
Jar Jar.
Wow, how'd she know it was going to me next? That's amazing. I have to say, I'm looking at myself right now. I got to shave. I'm looking horribly ragged.
Focus.
Sorry about that, everybody. And welcome to another Splash Pages. Yay! And over to Drew Mollo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have another great Splash Pages planned. I, of course, am the person who's still not sure why I'm here. I'm Drew. How you doing, everyone? We have great news. We have a hilarious book. And we have a wonderful guest that I made sure to put a blazer on for because he's just that fashionable. Artist, co-writer. This guy just puts the awe and awe. Yeah, everybody, give it up for Mr. Art Balthazar.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, how's it going, guys? We're here. We are live. Welcome
Yes,
to the
we
show.
are. Yes, we are. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. So how's it going, Art?
It's going good, man. Busy doing all kinds of stuff, but you know.
Yeah, you're caught up
living a
in
lifestyle.
con season right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of it, in the thick of it, as they say. Yeah, I forget what I just got back from, and I forget where I'm going next. But I'm going to be driving next weekend. I just flew. I was in Terrificon at Connecticut, San Diego. I was all over the place. I'm going to Baltimore next week, and then Cincinnati after that.
Oh, we were in Maryland
shows.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'll be all over the place, man.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Drew,
Yeah.
weren't we supposed to have famous cartoonist Art Balthazar on tonight? Why is George Clooney here?
Oh, no, that's fine. Carrie,
Yeah,
no. We're not supposed to draw attention. Art canceled, and George owed Leo a favor. That's right here. So we can ask him
I'm
anything.
sorry.
But we X-nay on the ER Skiday. Okay, we can talk about Batman and Robin, Dust Till Dawn, Up in the Air, all
Julia
Ocean,
Roberts.
up to 16, but we cannot talk about anything with hospitals. That's a trigger.
True. Yeah. You could ask me anything about Julia Roberts. I have a lot of knowledge with her.
Yeah.
But we get mistaken for all the time. I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but yeah, it's really me.
Uh-huh.
I know that. I think we have the same barber. That's why, you know.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
the same haircut. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like this is uncanny. We're like mutants.
It's
Love
I swear you're on some morph level, Art. Like I saw it and I was just like,
I know. That
I was like,
happens a lot, you know. You'd be imagine how much that happens, you know.
I can only imagine. So Art, so the book that we read of yours was one, admittedly, I haven't read, was Arkham Maniacs that you did, of course, with a longtime collaborator, Franco. And what a hoot, man. Like it was just absolutely funny from the beginning to end.
Oh, thanks.
And I had one question because I've read a lot of Tiny Titans, right? And I have to ask, a lot of your stuff that you did with Franco in DC, is it all like one world, one timeline?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's all one universe. That's the way I look at it. Tiny Titans, and then went into Superman Family Adventures. I had Super Pets comics, and I know it's the same because every time I draw Superman, he looks the same, and every time I draw Robin, he looks the same. So yeah, it's all one big universe. I don't know what we call it. I like to call it Earth 63 instead of Earth 52 Earths. I got Earth 63, as I remember saying that one time on a panel, and I got in trouble for it. And the publisher says, "Don't say that anymore," because I said Earth 53, and they said there's only 52 Earths, and it came out in publishing. You know, it was in print,
Right.
And I got yelled at for it. And then on a panel, people asked me again, "What universe is the Titans in?" And
Right.
the publisher looked at me, and I went, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say Earth 53, so it's Earth 63." So that everyone laughed. So yeah, so that's where that came from. But I think everything I draw is all in the same universe, and even my own characters interact with some of these guys very subtly. There's these aliens that I created that make an appearance in every book and every universe that I do, and that ties them all together. And they're from my own characters, my own comics universe. But these aliens are in all my books. Even if there's whenever a spaceship shows up, that's who they are. So all my stuff is linked together somehow, some strange way. And only a few fans have pointed it out, but it's all there.
So I gotta ask, since we're going right into Archimaniacs, Bruce is already brooding, and his parents are alive and well.
Yeah. Well, he's not.
Is he no matter what going to be Batman on this Earth? Like,
oh, you know, he's destined. But yeah, his parents are alive, and this is what happens before, and before Bruce's demise. But he's in this story.
Sour for life.
Yeah, he's destined. He has a destiny. But in this story, he's 8 years old. So it's at least 2 years before the parents go see Zorro, go see that movie. But yeah, he's a curious kid. He's he doesn't like to listen to authority. So he trusts Alfred, but he doesn't want to do everything Alfred says or his parents say. And he just wants to play with those strange kids who live across the city. And instead of being stuck in the house in his stuffy outfit and his it's no fun to be at home in the mansion, so he wants to go wander out and get in trouble. So that's kind of where he is at the moment.
And Art, since bringing up Archimaniacs, you took a really different perspective on the Joker. What inspired that particular perspective through imagination in your storytelling?
When we thought about these characters, we were totally thinking of Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes. So Joker is like Bugs Bunny.
But I was going to say he's very Bugs Bunny-ish.
And he seems to bring the sunshine.
Yeah, it's a party wherever he goes. There's all kinds of, when people enter a room and they bring that vibe, or people say their smile lit up the room. That's kind of what the Joker is. He shows up and it's going to be a good time. It's like by the end of the night, you might be coming home on a ship. Coming in there, here he comes. You want to believe what a night I had, fellas? It's kind of like that. He's just bringing it everywhere he goes. He brings the sunshine, brings the party.
Nice.
He's ready to go.
As a big fan of the character of the Joker, I really like your perspective that he doesn't really see himself as a bad guy. He sees himself, he's having a good time, and he's just doing his thing.
That's how all the bad guys are. The bad guys always think they're right. Whether it's the Joker or Lex Luthor or even the Emperor in Star Wars, when he's talking to Anakin in the theater, I'm kind of like, yeah, man, I get it. I want to be a Sith too. Like it sounds better. So when I hear the bad guys talking, and even Lex Luthor talks about how much he hates Superman and how Superman's an alien. Why do we trust him when you have my brilliant mind to trust and he can't get respect? So I'm with the bad guys, and people always say, what lightsaber color would you choose? And I can't, red comes to mind every time. Like, man, red is the right, but I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be the bad guy, but it makes more sense sometimes, especially when the bad guys, they don't know they're the bad guys. Even Magneto, he doesn't know he's the bad guy either. And I know I'm talking about Marvel guys, but but they're all the same. And Joker doesn't know he's bad. He's just, he likes to watch stuff happen. The Joker likes to watch things happen rather than becoming rich and like he doesn't want to rob a bank. He wants to bother Batman. And like all these other guys, Penguin wants to make money. All Mr. Freeze wants to steal diamonds, but the Joker, he just wants to create madness and chaos and get reaction from people. He's almost like those jackass guys. Like they just want to perform a prank in public and then see what happens.
Right.
Get a reaction.
I know I'm doing a lot of references. I'm
No,
referencing everything.
Art, this is the show to do the references in, buddy. I'm telling you. So,
Art, do you want to tell our viewers what the secret of the Joker's head is?
Oh yeah, it may not be attached. I'm not sure because I think there might be a few moments in the book where it's not even attached to his body. I'm not sure, but when I draw sketches of him, I always draw his head like a balloon. Like it's floating above his body. It kind of does whatever it wants. And whatever's going on in his head leads the rest of his body. So that's what I always thought about him. But he's such a cool character. He's such like in this one, he's not insane. Like he doesn't want to tear his face off or anything like that. Or he doesn't want to kidnap Vicky Vale. He just wants to wants to show you stuff, you know. He said, "Hey, check this out." Yeah,
and that's kind of what I wanted to ask because I was reading it, you know, and this is the first time I ever read it, so I was like, great. And I kind of felt like I kind of wanted to know what you and Franco, like, how do you guys came up with this? Because I saw like the whole thing was like sprinkled with a lot of references, like Bruce's tour through the apartments kind of reminded me of Batman kind of touring Arkham Asylum and in the Arkham book and whatnot. And it was like, again, like, and there are other comic references, one or two I want to kind of address. So how did you guys come up with it? You guys just sitting down and you're just like, hey, you know, let's tell the Arkham story, but let's do it in an apartment.
This is it's a long process it took to actually get this out. When we were doing Tiny Titans early on in the run, we became New York Times bestseller, and then it won an Eisner Award. So my editor asked, "What other ideas do you have? We want to spin off some more of your books." And she actually gave me and Franco the position to art direct like a series of books. So I came up with 4 or 5 new ideas, and I had artists that I reached out to, some of my friends. I was going to write all the stories. Me and Franco would write all the stories, and then I had assign them to artists. So I had a bunch of guys lined up that we were going to pitch these stories. And I had a pitch called The Addams Family. It was the Adam with his family, the Addams family.
Right.
And then I had one was Archimaniacs, and one was Green Lantern Academy, and one was a Killer Croc series. All these kind of things happen, and like I had Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl. I think it was Super Cousins or something. But we pitched the first idea, or one was Super Pets too. We pitched the first idea, and it got, shot down. And so my editor said, "We're not going to show any more of these things because once it gets shut down, we can't pitch it again." So she told me, "Start putting all these ideas into Tiny Titans." So I put an Addams Family story in the Tiny Titans where Bumblebee met them, and then we ended up doing a few Green Lantern crossovers with Jeff Johns was writing with us for one issue, and we introduced the Lantern rings, and then we started putting Killer Croc in the Tiny Titans. He started eating stuff and walking around, and then the penguins were in there. So all these things kind of Archimaniacs kind of organically, is that right? Yeah, it developed from Tiny Titans and became its thing. But I never showed, I picked a few of them, like Clayface was in the Tiny Titans. He was in the Squishy Titans and a Killer Croc. But we had this whole pitch ready for Archimaniacs. And then years went by, Tiny Titans finished, Superman Family came and went. And then I started making Super Pet books. I made like 50 Super Pet books. And then when they went to the young author graphic novels, the DC Zoom, DC Kids, they asked, we had a meeting with DC. We went all the way to Burbank. We sat in the office, and they asked us what I want to do. Well, I said, what characters do you want? And I told them I want Superman. And they said, of course. They said, my editor there said, of course, no one asked for Superman, and I know you'll do a good job with him because you know more about him than we do. I'm like, you're right. I know, live and breathe Superman. So after Superman, the next question was, we always wait for that one question when you're an artist. What else you got? What's next? So the thing I had was, it was funny because like we were at a dinner, and we just met the new editor, the new boss of the DC Kids line. And we're eating dinner, and I remember we weren't too far from the show or from our hotel. It was like 4 blocks away. And my editor said to me, she said, I want to get to know you. So can I walk back to the hotel with you two guys? I'm like, sure. So we walked real slow. It was awesome. And I remember, I don't know, I'm probably making it up. Maybe she took her shoes off or changed shoes or something. But we were walking slow. And I remember I remember her saying her feet was hurt. Sure, she could walk slow. So we're walking like arm in arm, like, oh, we're like the monkeys. Here we come. We're walking down, but real slow. And she starts saying, how did you, like, just the same question, like, how'd you guys meet? Where'd you come up with Tiny Titans? And then it came up, what else you got? And I said, just what I told you. I got this idea called Archimaniacs, where all of the bad guys, instead of being in an insane asylum, they're in an apartment building. And at first I had Batman would come by with Commissioner just to do the checks. He was kind of like the landlord a little bit.
Right.
Commissioner Gordon would be the landlord, and they would check on these guys. And then when one go escape Batman, I'd bring him back and stuff. But it turned into, let's make Batman a kid, and let's make Alfred or Commissioner Gordon the superintendent of the building. He's like the janitor. So it all just came from that. And by the time we walked from that restaurant to the hotel, it was like pretty much greenlit the series. And when we got back, we saw the other editors and the bosses, and she said, I got this idea that he brought this idea to me. We're going to do this. And they all went, yeah, okay. Because I knew all the DC guys. It was like Dan DiDio and Michelle was my editor, and Jan was this early on, Jan Jones. So I got to know everybody, and I considered them all my friends. So it was cool, and that's kind of how it happened. So I know it was a long answer, but that's it, man.
No, thank you.
That was cool.
Awesome.
And so I can't wait to do more. Like, I think that's the last thing I've done. We've done one more thing that's coming out. Well, yeah, they announced it. It was Teen Titans Go to the Library, and it's Teen Titans Go characters, the way they look in the Teen Titans Go cartoon. I drew 30 pages in there that I don't want to spoil, but if you know how I draw the Teen Titans, it's going to be like, you're expect my artwork to be expected. It's probably what you think it's going to be. And I get to draw these guys for 30 pages, and it's really cool. And I had Franco, we wrote the story together. He gets the writer credit because they wanted to make the book faster because I had a lot of deadlines. I said, I don't need my name in the writing credit. Just let me draw it. And then it was real cool. But that's the next book. I think it comes out in January or February.
Oh, sweet.
So that's going to be another YA novel, a little digest kind of one. But yeah, man, it's fun. I love making all of these characters, and anytime I draw them, I always feel like the characters belong to me after a while, and I have to remember that they don't, that's my Bruce Wayne, but it's like, no, it's DC Comics Bruce Wayne, but it's still mine, So it's just so much fun, and it just feels good to be involved with this stuff. And anytime I get approached from any other publisher, they always bring up, can you make them tiny style or itty bitty? And I'm like, and I never mind that. And like, I like it, but I always want to do like a Bruce Timm style superheroes, like adults. That's what Superman Family was like. And we did Superpowers for 6 issues, and that was real cool. Yeah. And I do my own too. Like I just draw all the time. I almost revealed what I'm working on next, but I can't.
It's
yeah. I almost led to there. That was where I was going.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
But like,
rats.
man, I can't. Like, oh,
it's all good.
I almost said something. Yeah.
Well, just a little. Oh, no, I was just going to say just a little bit ago, you were talking about references, and the book has a ton of them. Like you have Ace the Bat Hound in there. You have Bob Kane's original, Batman outfit. Any small things that we might have missed for references?
Oh, I got two. I saw. There's two that I want to bring up.
What you got?
Well, there was Bruce Wayne's outfit when he's sneaking out. That's the outfit he wore in Batman Year One.
Yeah.
Bane quote unquote breaking him, but we really know
the breaking of the bat.
That's the Nightfall. First thing, Manny being Kirk Langstrom, Man-Bat, aka vampire, which was also hilarious. You mentioned the Monarch Theater in the zine, which I thought was hilarious because Bruce was like, "Can we just stream it? It's a black and white film." And I was like, changing the destiny of Batman.
We've seen it a ton of times.
I think those were the two that, like, Leo, I wanted to ask because I was like, I reread it right now and I was like, that's his outfit from Year One. Like, that's perfect for sneaking out. I was like, clever girl.
And then and there's the other reference when he was feeding the birds and all the robins showed up, and then he goes, "You're gonna get used to seeing them, sir."
You're seeing a lot of those. And then Alfred's like, he's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's springtime." I'm like, those guys.
A lot of robins. You're gonna at least 6 or 7 of them, sir. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I counted 2. I was like, wait a second. I was like,
there's a lot of them.
It's like, God, there's so many robins.
Yeah, we go deep, man. It's so fun to be involved with these guys, and I always tell people that if there was a degree in comic books, I'd probably have a PhD because I've been studying since I'm about 6. I've been studying for like 50 years I'm learning all these characters, and like when they told me at DC, they said, "You know more about Superman than we do." I wasn't shocked. I was like, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Like, I know where he comes from. I know where he went to school. I know where his parents are. I know what he likes to eat. I know what he feels. I know all these things. And same with Batman and Bruce Wayne and Joker and Alfred and Commissioner, all these guys. And we've all been reading the lore for so much that we've been reading Commissioner Gordon when he had red hair. And then when Barbara was a baby, and then I think he has a son too. And so even in the movies, you see all these things, but it goes deep into the lore where these characters become part of our memories, part of our thoughts, part of our what we do every day, and it's real hard to escape it. Well, not escape it. It's not even when you take a break, you come back and it just clicks. It's all familiar again, and it's just I don't know, man. Comics are like just a way of life.
So I had one question, just because again, my first introduction to you and Franco's work was Itty Bitty Hellboy, and we talked a little bit about that when we did an interview at Terrificon. But having read now all of Tiny Titans and whatnot, and I just kept imagining, because now you said that it's all kind of in the same earth or whatnot. And whatnot, and I was like, man, because the Titans are very crossovery. I was like, man, I would love to see a Tiny Titans Itty Bitty Hellboy crossover. Like, that would just kill me. So if DC Dark Horse, let's get this growing, please.
I know, man. And you know what? I did a show flyer for I think it was Denver Con, where I had Tiny Titans on one side and Action Cat and all of his guys on the other side. And they had that blue horse and the blue bear, and they were all on a poster. And then I did the Itty Bitty Hellboy cover where he also crosses over with Action Cat. So Action Cat is the link between Tiny Titans met Action Cat met Itty Bitty Hellboy and Ape Sapien. So that's where I think they're all tied together. There's little links that connect all these guys. And Itty Bitty Hellboy was so much fun too, because right away when we got asked to do Itty Bitty Hellboy, we got an email from Mike Mignola and the editors at Dark Horse, and we were launching our Oh Yeah Comics Kickstarter, and it was going nuts. Like, we got funded in like 7 hours, 8 hours, and we still had still got 30 days left, but we got funded so quickly that I got an email from Mignola saying, hey, we like this, and Dark Horse even on the same email, they said if you want to stop your Kickstarter, we'll take over and we'll publish a whole line of All Yeah comics. And I'm thinking, man, like, why would I say no to that? But then I thought, I want to see where this goes. I want to see how far I can take it. And
Right.
so I told them no. I'm like, no, I want to see what happens. And they're like, wait a minute. And then he said, well, how about doing a line for us with Hellboy? I'm like, okay, that's better. So that's where that spun out. It was kind of like, it wasn't the first pitch. It was first Dark Horse wanted to take over and just put out a line of All Yeah comics. Then when I said no, then they're like, well, how about, they didn't want to let it go. They said, well, how about Itty Bitty Hellboy? And right away I thought, yes. And I remember talking with Franco we were watching our Kickstarter, but we're on headphones like this and we're talking, looking at it. And I read the email to him, and he might've been copied on it too, but I immediately thought about Richie Rich and Hot Stuff and Casper. That's immediately what I thought about what Itty Bitty Hellboy would translate to, making him Tiny Titan style, but more like Harvey Comics. And once that clicked, it was so easy to write those characters too. And I read a bunch of Hellboy books when they first came out. And then I saw the movies, of course. But then I remember talking to Magnola. He said, don't give me anything that's been in the movies. So I had to go back, and I think they PDF'd me a whole bunch of comics to read. I read all of the early ones, and it was real easy. It felt so easy to adapt Itty Bitty to make him Itty Bitty Hellboy. And I remember it took me a bunch of designs, probably, I would say 40 tries, like 40 roughs, and trying to get Hellboy to look right, because when he's little, does he have the long, because I know he shaves off his horns. Are they long? Are they short? So I made him, his little horns were little buds. So I thought, man, that was so much cool. And even in the movie, we watched the movie, and remember in the beginning of the movie, the army guys find Hellboy in the beginning? Yes. And when he shows up, even my kids said, Dad, there he is. There's Itty Bitty Hellboy. I'm like, yeah, it's him. So I said, I already have a movie, you know? It was a movie cameo even before I got to start. So that was fun, man.
No, it totally was. And it's funny because I remember you guys you had a little statue project for Itty Bitty with the pancakes.
Yeah.
And I've never spent $50 faster. But I was like, not only is that a story which Mignola has himself is like, you know, I might have done that differently, but like being a breakfast fan, like I have that. And I don't know if I think I told Franco this, but I don't know if I told you, I have a little drawing that you guys did with the pancakes, and it's on our bulletin board.
Oh, cool.
In our kitchen. So every time I'm like, well, time to make them pancakes.
Yeah,
you know?
puts you in a mood, man. Mood
for man.
Coffee and pancakes, the best.
Yeah, nothing like demons and pancakes to start your Saturday.
Right.
But it's also funny because I was referencing that, and Kari asked me about Roger the homunculus, and she was like, why doesn't he wear pants? Am I missing something there? And I was like, he's the homunculus. In that world, you got to read the books. I was like, I can't explain this in a TLDR.
Like, yeah, he has like a belt that has a lock on it or something.
Yeah,
I forget, it's been a while, but he needs pants. You know.
Yeah, exactly, Kari. He's pantsless. This homunculus in the Mignola-verse just evolved beyond pantalones. They're above.
Just Donald Duck in it.
Oh, 100% ducktail in it, man. Just woo. Just going in.
His undies to anybody who walks by. You want some? Here, you need some difference? Have my undies.
Oh, Kari, I'm telling you, you read Itty Bitty. You just gotta, when in doubt, just squatch. Just squatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch is in there too, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Every book I do, I always put Sasquatch in a lot of things I do. Yeah.
There you go.
And I did Itty Bitty. I did Tiny Titans and sorry.
No worries. In addition to being a comic artist and writer, you have turned a childhood toy into kind of a love side hustle. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, my Migos? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been collecting the Migo figures since I'm like 4 or 5 years old. I was a little guy. I would get them for Christmas all the time before Star Wars hit. But they're the old vintage 8-inch toys with the cloth capes and boots and stuff. You could take off their clothes and stuff. But I've been collecting those forever, and then you you grow up, you pack your stuff away, you go to college or get an apartment, and then when I come back to mom's house, or actually I went back and took my stuff from mom's house because I got married and we moved in here, and I started setting up all my toys. I got this big basement with shelves and things. I could put my whole collection out, and I started taking out my Migos, and then all of a sudden I go online and look, and I saw that there was this Migo community called the Migo Museum. And I'm like, wow, there's a whole bunch of guys like me who are rediscovering their toys, but there's a whole website built to this thing. And then I started going to shows. I met other customizers. I met other guys who make heads, guys who sew suits, guys who make repro parts. And I just started buying all these toys, and I've been going to Migo Meet since 2006 maybe, and it just became a huge hobby. But now I make my own characters, and at first when you collect figures and you think you got them all, and then you're thinking, man, why didn't Migo make the Flash or Green Lantern? Why didn't they make the X-Men? And so I started customizing, and now I have about 400 custom figures that I made.
Wow.
And I have like the Pulp Fiction guys, I have the Thundercats, I have all the Justice League, I have all the X-Men, I have all the bad guys. I made all kinds of bad guys. I made different versions of Batman and Joker, and I have a bunch of Superman. So I just keep making stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, Art, you just said that, secret. If you ever do He-Man, the gentleman to my right would be extremely interested in putting in a custom order. That's
cool.
his bag.
You know what I did? I got a He-Man head that is because He-Man heads were smaller than Migos. They were squishy and they fit on the bodies, but they look like little tiny heads. So I had someone enlarge the head, and I put him on a body. I made him into Thundar the Barbarian. So he has the brown fuzz and he has the sword. Yeah, he looks real cool. I painted him up. Yeah, he looks good. And I'm working on Ukla the Mock, and I'm working on. I have a Princess Ariel. So I have all kinds of guys. I have a Skeletor that I got from a Grim Reaper head. It's just a skull head with a hood, but it looks like Grim Reaper. But I'm looking at it, it's like, this is Skeletor. So I put him on a blue bodysuit.
Is there a place where we can see these, Art?
They're on I have my website, artbaltazar.com. There's a button for a link to my Migo customs. And they're all there. There's a whole bunch of them on
writing it down. Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say let me drop that down.
Yeah, that's my home. That's like where you find everything. Go to my name, artbaltazar.com, and you'll see all my work, my custom Migos, my store page where you could buy my comics. You see my videos. Everything's on there. That's like my landing page, my launch pad. You could go on there and look around. You'll see links to everywhere, everything I do online, and I'm much cooler online than I am. Oh, go ahead.
Do you have like a studio you built these in?
Yeah, I have an art studio in my house. My art studio is Electric Milk Comics, Electric Milk Creations, and I have a studio as big as my house. It's the whole basement. So I have the water heater and the washer and dryer, but that's behind me here. But then I have a lot of space down here. And I remember when I was working with DC Comics, and I incorporated that's my stuff. I incorporated my art studio. And so I had the official government guy come in my house, and he said, I'm here to make sure that there's an incorporation at this address. I'm like, yeah. So he walked in, and we're walking in my kitchen, my living room, and he says, you work here? I'm like, yeah. Well, I live in this spot, but let me take you to downstairs. And we came down here, and he saw the computers. I had like a big computer set up. I have 3 art tables. I have easels. I have paint. I have shelves with action figures and toys and comics all over the place, posters, and just the floor is covered with paint. And he said, oh, I see. You work here. It's like, yeah, if I choose to, I don't have to leave the house. All I need down here is a refrigerator, and then I'm good. And then I showed him all my stuff. Here's my incorporated computer. Here's my incorporated art studio. And then I said, here's my incorporated laundry room. And he went, okay. And so he gets it. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. And but yeah, these are all my figures. I make all these in my house. I do this as a side hobby, I guess. But I also make custom action figures and put them on eBay now and then.
No kidding.
I made some customs called the Migor, the Jungle Chief Migor. So he was up there, and I like to make guys that are original. I create my own, and but I find myself going into having too many Supermans or Batman, and so I might put up some Batman and Superman customs up there. But I have I'm working on some Flash Gordon customs. I have a regular guy series because I have a bunch of heads that are just regular guys and a bunch of extra clothes, and then I'm just going to put out as a regular guy series. So
What do you
know,
do?
So, just real quick, I just want to let everybody know that's watching. I have all your links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us.
Oh,
so
cool,
if you
man.
didn't catch his website earlier, just check the show notes, and I have everything right there.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
What do you
use for the bodies and stuff? Because I know you can't be taking Migos apart to be doing this, are you?
No, these are repro bodies. There's several companies that sell the repro bodies. I buy a lot of stuff from Figures Toy Company or Classic TV Toys, and then I buy stuff from. There was a company named Zika that would sell a bunch of bodies. There's Dr. Migo sells bodies. So there's at least 3 sources. On Figures or Classic TV Toys, they have a Type S body, which is like, I think is the best body in the business. I never broke one. And so, man, I have a ton of stuff. And I just did an ad, a comic book ad for Figures Toy Company. And they asked me how much do I want for it? Like they wanted to pay me, and I told them to give me $500 worth of bodies. And so I had this giant box showed up in my house. So I have like at least 150 bodies that I have still waiting to get put heads and costumes on. So, man, I love doing this so much, and I wish I had more time. And usually I have like a free for all Friday or free for all Saturday because normally Friday night, the emails stop coming in from editors, and me working vampire hours now, like my emails stop in the morning, but my morning could be like 8:00 in the evening. You know, it feels like lunchtime to me. But so after that, around midnight or so, midnight to 6 a.m., I just sit and paint heads and put suits and paint stuff and work on packaging. And so it's really fun. And I do a lot of customs that are just for me, one of a kind. But I'm going to start making a series of bodies and a series of figures. And it seems like I release like 10 at a time. I can make 10 where I'm comfortable. And people say, well, that's not a lot. I said, but if I try to make 20, it's like, it's going to take me 6 more months. So I'm like, because I individually paint each head, and I always paint something on the body or give him some kind of weird accessory. Like my last Migor figure, I actually gave him a real stick. I went outside to find sticks that might fit in his hand, and I painted him orange, and it was his staff in the book in the package. Yeah. So it was pretty fun. So I put those up there, and the last time I put them up for eBay, it was an eBay auction. They were all gone within the first like 10 hours. They're all gone. And I was like, I was amazed, blown away at that. And I know the Amigo community is tight. It's not very big. There's a tight group of guys, and especially the custom Amigo community is even tighter. So people who love customs, I bought a few customs from people in the past, and normally, but a lot of times I look at the custom and thinking, I think I can make that. And if I make it, I'll make it different. But once in a while, spontaneous, I'll buy one. Like one of my friends made a Kingpin, and he printed the suit, and he had a head, and it was on a fat body, and it was like, I need that. And he had the staff had a little diamond on it. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work. So I bought that. I have a few customs. I have a Johnny from Fantastic Four, the Human Torch, Johnny. Yeah, it's Johnny Storm, right? Yeah, you're right. I thought Johnny Storm. Oh, I was thinking Johnny Blaze. Yeah, Johnny Storm. Man, those are cool last names, Storm and Blaze.
Right.
You know, maybe Johnny Winter, Johnny Freeze.
My Method Man took one of them on.
You seem so excited. You've got comics, toys.
Yeah.
There's 3 locations of all your comics. How do you balance the business and still having that youthful exuberance for what you seem to love? Like we just had on a few weeks ago, Keith Giffen, and he does not have that youthful exuberance for the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I I don't know. I get overwhelmed a lot. There's a lot of times where I just I got too much. Like right now, I got too much work too. I'm working on like here I got like 6 things right now, 6 books that I have to get completed that have deadlines. Two are big things that I can't even talk about yet, but the others, like I'm working with AEW wrestling. I'm working with uh man, what can't I talk about? I can't. Let me see. I'm working on with paper cuts. I'm working a lot. My create your own book called Yogs. Book 1 just came out in August. I'm working on book 2 and book 3 right now.
Cool.
And so Yogs book 2 and the AEW wrestling, I'm currently penciling them and inking them and lettering them, and my other 2 secret projects. But it's like I think of all these things and I try to break it down using math, which artists aren't real good at math, but
Nope.
you discover how good you are at math. Like I'll take each page and I'll like, okay, if I do a page of everything, if 1 page of each project a day, in 30 days, I could have 30 pages of each thing done. That's like my mentality. So in 30 days, I could have like 90 pages done or 120 pages done or something like that.
Right.
Sometimes it works, but other times I just wear myself down. Or if I ink 1 page, I'll be in a rhythm and I'll do like 3 or 4 pages of the same project. So that kind of like the balance. But then most of the time, the balance is when I don't have to go anywhere, I tell my wife and the kids, I just say, all right, I got this deadline. I'm going to let myself slip into vampire mode and I'm going to lose connection with all you guys for a little bit. And like, I work at home, I see everybody, but like my breakfast turns into their dinner. And so like we overlap and I'm going to bed when my wife's leaving. Like she said goodbye to me today and I'm still working. And she told me before she went to work, she said, I think it's time you should go to bed now. And that's the one thing I forget is I don't have a sense of feeling of time. Like, and normally, what 2 o'clock in the afternoon feels like. You need a coffee, or like 5 o'clock, you're hungry for dinner, or 8 in the morning, your breakfast. Well, me, I don't know. Like 8 in the afternoon or 8 in the evening feels like, I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what noon feels like. Noon, I'm usually I've been sleeping for an hour. So it's kind of like the balance is I wake up and go. I wake up, have coffee, I sit down, and I just plow through this thing until I physically can't do it. And then I'll lay down and then I'll get up again. But not only like comics, but I own co-owner of 3 stores with my friends for All Yeah Comics. So I try to show up there on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's difficult sometimes. I run my online store. I ship out packages all the time. I make music. I make real bad music, but it's fun. I make songs. I record stuff. So like I squeeze all this time. So like there's never a moment where I'm just sitting watching TV on the couch. I know I never have that. And if I'm watching anything, it's on this other computer while I'm working. I just stream, or a lot of times I'll just listen to live streams, like live shows. All my friends do live Zoom calls and stuff. I'll listen to all that stuff instead of watching Disney Plus or something. Like I watched that Ahsoka show and I actually had to take time out. Like I said, all right, I got 2 hours. I'm going to sit and watch it. And that kind of messes up my viewing enjoyment because I'm waiting for something to happen, or I'm waiting to be done so I can move on. And I need to watch that again because I don't know if I liked it, but that kind of stuff happens. Like, man, I know the show was better, but I wasn't into it, because I'm thinking I should be drawing now. And I chose the wrong time to watch the show. I probably watched it the day it came out, but I'm like, I had my sketchbook on my lap, so I wasn't ready. So, but like stuff like that. And I don't know how it balances. I just get in the groove and keep going. And I sleep when I'm tired and I wake up when I'm done. And I easily turn into this weird guy, like this weird train of thought. Like if I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. I wasn't going to say it like he's pretending. No, I know it's Tuesday, but I've been working constantly since like last Friday. So it's the next day to me. And I know it's Tuesday because, the world, it's on my calendar on my phone. But
Fair enough.
I don't have a weekend. I don't take a break. When I go to I was at Terrificon. I think that was the last show I was at, and that was my break. Or I was with no, I went to PowerCon. I went to a toy show. I drove my kids.
Oh, how was PowerCon?
Oh, PowerCon was awesome, and I wasn't gonna go, and my son was home for the summertime from college, and they're watching me. They watch me what I do, and I tell them all my projects. I get excited, and my son will listen to me when we're driving, or when I'm just with him. He'll ask me about my comics and my projects. And it's weird. I hear from a lot of other artists and creators that nobody in their family reads their books. Nobody cares. It's just like that's what Daddy does. So, but when you tell somebody, like you tell a fan, they're like, "Oh man, I can't believe that's happening." You know, they get real excited. But my son is there. He's in between. He's like he likes read. He's the one who reads my books. My two boys read all the books, and my guy Gordy, he'll read the books. But when we drive anywhere, I'm driving him around, he'll ask me about stuff. So he brought up going to PowerCon because they had Amigo Meet there. It was like Amigo Meet hasn't been around for 2 or 3 years now because pandemic and all these craziness. And so they brought it back. And it wasn't an official Amigo Meet show, but PowerCon had 16 tables. They had an aisle, like 16 tables of Amigo dealers all in a row. They were all in one spot. So I'm thinking, man, that's going to be cool. I'm going to go in there and wouldn't it be awesome to walk in there and just buy all their stuff and leave? And then my son said, we should do that. I'm like, because I didn't set up. I usually set up a table. But I wasn't sure how it was. So we went there. We left here on Thursday, went to Amigo Meet Friday and drove back Saturday. It was real quick. And then even my son said, Dad, we're like rock stars. We went in there, you bought all their stuff and left. And everybody's like, hey, who was that guy? You know, so, but I know all the guys. I know all the Migo guys. It was real fun. So our whole, it was a 6-hour day on Friday to shop for toys. But we ran out of time, 3 hours of those. We're just talking to the Migo guys. So we had to rush through the whole place to look at all the other toys. But the toy show is mostly like a He-Man show. Ninja Turtles show, a lot of 80s, like G.I. Joe, all the 80s stuff, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles. But there's a whole half of the show that is all customizers and small toy businesses, small toy companies. And they're all showing these, everyone's got warriors or barbarians and barbarian guys with animal heads and mythic sword guys. And I don't even know what these toy lines are, but man, they're cool. But there was a lot of vintage, and I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought a Heathcliff Bank, you know, that cat.
Nice.
I bought some Flash Gordon toys. I bought these guys. This guy was there. I'm a big Flash Gordon fan. I bought these guys. So I bought a lot of little things. So, but I bought Migo stuff. I got a whole pile of stuff. I got a show. I'm going to do a live toy reveal show. I'm going to show all the stuff I bought. Nice. But that was real fun. And since I got back from there, and then I took my son back to college, and now I don't have to take anyone anywhere for a while because everyone's back in school. So now is nighttime to hunker down and just plow through. And after that, my last show of the year is in, I think October, November. So between November and March, I don't have anywhere to go. So that's when I get a lot of my work done, man. I grow a beard and I, forget to shower and all that stuff happens. I just plow in it. I wake up and like a zombie, you just come back and sit down and draw again. And that happens a lot. So I don't know. I think I answered the question.
You did. You answered the question and so much more. Man. Thank you.
And I've been I do so much stuff. And even this year, I tackled on the task of making monthly comics of my own books. So I'm printing my own books since January. I've been making monthly books, and they're on my website. And but my website has been updating since May, and it's driving me nuts. So I had from January to May, I had monthly books, and all of a sudden they stopped. But I still have them. They're still getting shipped to my house. So I'm waiting for my site to update. Update. And they're relaunching all the buttons and all this, whatever's happening.
Right.
But man, once hopefully by September, I'll have a whole line of books. I'll have 8 new titles up there, and I got merch. I got all kinds of stuff. Sweet. I've been making, man, it's just so much fun. Man, is it cool? I just love making all this stuff. And if I can't do this, I don't know what else I would do. But somewhere along the way, you fall in love and get married, have a wife, make babies, and then have a house, and all of that mixed in here somehow. And now I get to stay home and draw comics. So I don't know how it happened, but I thank baby Jesus all the time. Yeah.
Sounds like the dream.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, your entire conversation, I was just like, Jeremy can learn from this.
Yeah.
Barry can learn from
I'm
this.
a huge like,
Leo, Rich. I was like, and somehow all roads end up back at Art's beard. So there we go.
That's right. Yeah, the beard comes back once a year. And I don't know how this happens. I even have I do a podcast with my buddies, the Oh Yeah podcast. I do a YouTube show called Famous Cartoonist Says Things. I just do these things. And my kids ask me too. That right now they're the perfect age because they're asking about college and they know what they want to do.
Right.
And I was waiting for this because all I tell them is my son was all I tell them is you just have to do it. I don't know how. You just have to start doing it. And my son told me he was talking about what he wants to do and it's going to be difficult. I'm like, you just do it. And he says, he was thinking what he could fall back on. And I went, nope, don't put that. Once you start thinking about a fallback, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I said, don't have a fallback. You have to concentrate on that one thing. If you have a fallback, then you're going to do that. And because it's easier. And like, why do you drive a truck? Oh, I wanted to be an actor, but now, driving a truck was easier. Like, well, then do you still want to be an actor? Yes. Like, so why did you start driving a truck? And even when I was growing up, I was around 20, 23, 22, somewhere around there. I was real discouraged. I was trying to make comics and trying to get a job. And I had like 12 roommates and all this stuff. I was trying to pay rent. And I went to this place called Beefy's. It was a place on the south side. They had the best cheese fries and gyros. And I walked in there and I'm thinking, I need a job real bad. I'm like poor. And if I want to work somewhere, I'm going to work somewhere where I enjoy the place. So I asked the guy, I said, you guys hiring? He goes, you want to work here? I'm like, yeah, I want to make the cheese fries. And he went, no, I'm not going to hire you. And he went, why? I said, why? He goes, you draw comics. Go home and draw comics. If you work here, you're never going to make comics. I'm like, you're right. And that was it. I'm like, he was right. He like unlocked it. Like, no, you're going to be the cheese fry guy. So that was it. That was like a moment of inspiration. Like you need to unlock that puzzle, you need to figure out that code and then, change your thinking. It's like listening to the Sith Lord. He might be right. No, he wasn't a Sith Lord. He's a good man. But
he was Jediing you right there.
Yeah, he Jedi mind trick. Yeah. Wasn't even
These are not the cheese fries you want.
You don't want
to write the comics.
You want to get a job so you could buy the cheese fries.
Exactly. You want to buy the cheese fries for the whole store.
That's right. I want a sandwich named after me. Yeah.
I'm taking RDB. Would you like that with extra cheese fries? Yes, please.
Yes, that's what the B stands for. More cheese. What? No, I don't know.
So I mean, you can definitely hear your passion and your love for everything, and I just have to say it's extremely inspirational what you're talking about, what you're doing. I mean, I absolutely love it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thanks, I'm going to look for Migos right after this show.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna get a drink and reevaluate life decisions and just erase fallback from my vocabulary because I'm gonna be like, what would Art do? Art would be like, no, don't fall back, go forward.
Well, I had several jobs. I had 42 jobs before I was able to do this full time. So you got to have those jobs. And anytime I would get a raise or a promotion, I would quit the job. And I would go from like $7 an hour to $18 an hour overnight. And they would ask, well, you're quitting? I put in my 2-week notice. They're like, yeah, but we just gave you the keys to the store and, you're training people tomorrow. Like, yeah, but now I'm the supervisor now of like, it was Office Max. Now the Office Max, I don't want to do this, but you're getting, it's a good career. You have the company car, whatever. I'm like, I don't want it. And I'm leaving. And like, I never had a credit card. I never had cell phones. I never had any of that because I wanted to be, I kept myself poor, not on purpose, but that's the fallback.
Yeah.
To trying to do it, you become really poor, and you have to live with several people and wake up on the weekends and there's a new guy on your couch. Like, all right, maybe he could start giving us $100 a month for rent. You got to think of that.
Yeah. I've been to some conventions where that happens. So trust me, you just wake up and you're like,